All right. Okay, guys, it's your boy Patrick Toussaint, PT Your Best Life. I'm here with Matthew Carter.
Yo, yo.
I met Matthew, learned about him, blew me away. So I wanted to have him be on our segment because I'm interested in having him tell you what he's doing. Hopefully it'll help you live your best life. Hey, Matthew, tell us.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Again, I'm Matthew Carter, and my best friend is Jason Reynolds, and he's a New York Times bestselling author. And his very popular book entitled Ghost is based on my life. So how this all started going, my friend and my coworker, she has a friend who's a librarian, and they were reading the book Ghost, and she was like, "Oh my God, I know the guy who this is about." So long story short, we linked up, and I told her, "Okay, you know what? I'm gonna come talk to the kids, but I'm just do this one time, see how it goes." Mm-hmm. So I go to the school. It was absolutely amazing. Right. And at the end of it, this kid comes up to me, and very nice kid. They share with me how they had thoughts about hurting themselves, and me talking to them about some of the things I've been through in my life and how I persevered through it. Mm-hmm. That potentially they didn't want to do that anymore. And it was in that moment I realized, you know what? I think there's something to this. Let me just keep going forward. And a year and a half later, and talking to over 20 plus schools, here I am, man. Here I am.
Got the nation.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Okay, so I don't know how many of you have read the book Ghost, but I need you to share what happened that inspired that book.
Definitely. So it was 2009, and I born and raised in Southeast Washington, D.C. For those who aren't familiar with that, it is not the D.C. where the monument is. It is the hood. But it's home, man. There's a bunch of good people who live there, and I love it. But with all that said, I was coming home from college, and it was really late, and I was super tired. And I noticed that there were two young kids, maybe 13, 14 years old, around outside of my house. Mm-hmm. And again, it looked weird, but I'm so sleepy, so I didn't really pay much attention to it. So I'm getting myself out of the car, and one of the kids roll up on me, and they're like, "Yo, you know what time it is?" Quick pause. Everyone, if you are in the hood and someone asks you, you know what time it is, you about to get robbed. Prepare yourself. So just be watchful. So, that happens. I think I actually told him the time, Elaine, and I get some more stuff out of my car. When I turn back around, this kid has a revolver pointed at my head. So he shoves me to the ground, presses the gun against my head, and it was that moment, because prior to that, I was just a negative person, based on some incidents I had in my life, and I just always assumed the worst. And I told myself in that moment, yo, if I live through this, I will never, ever think or live the same again. Thankfully, I'm still here. And I'm living every day constantly that promise I make myself to never revert to the way I used to think. And I always remain positive. I always expect and know the best will happen to me. And I've just been living my dream ever since.
Okay, all right. Okay. I think the biggest thing that Matthew said to me was that when that happened, you started to cry.
Oh, definitely, man. And I'm not ashamed to say, this little kid had me curled up in a ball, crying like a baby. But something else happened important in that moment. So what I didn't share before, the two kids, they were very young, but I can also tell they were very inexperienced, mainly because they didn't have their face covered up. Luckily, I had street smart, so I looked down and looked in their face. But when the kids shoved me down and pressed the barrel of the gun to my head, I pray that no one ever has had that feeling, man. It's just a terrible, terrible feeling. So I just started to cry, man. And in that moment, the kid who was aggressive to me and yelling at me, I don't know if it was pity or satisfaction, but he just had a moment of just being gentle, and his yells became more yo, just chill, just trying to let me know I'm not gonna kill you. So it was almost like he didn't even want to do it either. And that moment, I'll just never forget that. I'll never forget that moment.
So fast forward, you had that moment.
Yep.
Your best friend writes about that moment in the book Ghost.
Well, not that moment in particular, but just another thing that happened in my life. So I've actually experienced gun violence twice in my life.
Oh, okay.
And in the book, it talking about the first time when I was very young. In the book, the character is a little bit older, but in real life, I was probably like 5 or 6 years old.
Okay.
My mom and my stepdad, I was a little kid, 2-bedroom apartment, and then I go into the next room because there was lots of screaming, and I'm watching my stepdad hold a revolver to my mom's head. And needless to say, that just left a lasting impression of me, and it's a paramount to what the lasting effects of fear unchecked can do to you.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was the chain cycle of just me just being in a very bad place for many years.
Okay, so you have that
Yeah,
at 5.
yeah.
Then you have the second incident at 26.
26, yeah.
Okay, how did you overcome? Yeah.
I know, man. I just didn't give up, and not to make it sound like corny, but I just had a drive in me, and I never once wanted to give up. And I didn't share this part with you.
Okay.
Prior to that, quick backstory again about me. I got married very young, right out of high school. The pressures of being married and you're not even 20 years old yet is a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought about taking my life.
Okay.
And in the attempt to do so, and this is crazy, but I visualized taking my life, but it was all just a dream.
Okay.
And then I woke out of it and I was like, I think I'm supposed to be here for something. Because in my mind, I was doing it,
Yeah.
but I wasn't really doing it. So from that, I realized I had a purpose. And I slowly began to just live, man. It just keep going.
Okay. Fun stuff.
Yes, let's
What
talk
are you
about fun
doing?
stuff, man.
What are you doing now?
So now it's amazing, man. The shirt I have on right now, I have a TED Talk coming up
Woo,
August
woo.
9th. And
All right.
if you're in the Columbus area, Columbus, Ohio area, it'll be in Hilliard. If you go to TEDxHilliard.com, there's more information about that. But mainly, I am just traveling all over the place, talking to schools, man. That's the dream. That's my absolute dream, man. These kids are amazing. They're light years ahead of myself and their age, and I just meet a whole bunch of wonderful people doing what I do.
Okay, okay. And I know you're working on writing another book, or writing a book.
Yeah, so this is something that's very new, that's transpiring. A lot of people, of course, sharing with my life, they're like, dude, you should write a book, you should write a book. I'm finally going to write a book. So I'm working on that now.
Okay.
It's been the very beginning stages.
Yeah,
but
stay tuned, stay tuned.
Stay tuned for that, man. That's
Okay.
gonna be good.
Okay. So, if you could live your best life,
Yep.
we talked about dream boards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if you could live your best life, how would you live it?
So my best life, number one, debt free, man. I'm talking about like no financial obligations, like no debt. I'm traveling the world, my family, and I'm a foodie, so I'm traveling the world just to go eat at places, and just continue to do what I do with my talks, man. Like I just want to help as many people as possible to realize that just don't give up.
Yeah.
You know, please do not give up on your dreams. Don't give up on yourself. And if I can just do that to just a few more people before I leave this earth, that would just make me so much more happy.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's my boy Matthew Carter. So if they want to follow you or check you out,
Yes.
where can they?
I'm on all the social medias. My Insta is Matt Carter Talks. My Twitter is Matt Carter Talks, and you can follow me also on my website at MatthewCarterTalks.com.
All right. Okay. You heard it here. I love you guys. Matthew Carter Talks. Thank you, buddy.
My man.
Hey, he's been blessing my life. I love finding people that are passionate about living their lives, making a difference for other people. So, love you guys. Take care. Live your best life.
Peace.
Peace.